Hello, I'm Linda Thomson, and on behalf of the American Society of Clinical Hypnosis, I'd like to welcome you to this December virtual, online, Level 1 and Level 2 Clinical Hypnosis Workshop. I'm the overall chair of the workshop, but each level will also have its chair. Dr. Eric Smith, a physician from Ohio, will be chairing Level 1. And Dr. Eric Wilmarth, a psychologist from Michigan, will be the chair of Level 2. They will be joined by an amazing group of faculty who together have years of experience in incorporating clinical hypnosis into their practices and also teaching other healthcare professionals how to use these amazing and effective tools in their clinical work. We know you will have 2 great weekends of learning and experiencing so that you too can add these skills to the already great work that you do. To tell you more about our Zoom virtual workshop, I'd like to introduce you now to Maggie Dickens. Maggie?
Hi y'all, my name is Maggie Dickens, and I am a professional counselor and personal coach in Houston, Texas. And I am going to piggyback off of the chair of the upcoming American Society of Clinical Hypnosis virtual workshop that you are a part of and that you just heard from. Well, first, let's say hello to Trixie May. She is one of my fur babies who hangs out on her dog bed all day while I am seeing my clients in an online format, just like you will be learning in an online format during this upcoming workshop. So, she doesn't seem too jazzed about it, but hopefully you are, as we dive into some important tips, tricks, and things to know about your upcoming workshop. Okay, so I'm going to do my very best to summarize a lot of information. And the great thing about my summary is that all of this information is available to you through the chair who you just spoke with and through the ASCH staff who sent you this email. We are all happy to talk to you more about each of these topics in more detail and how they may pertain to you in particular. So diving in, let's first address how in the world are you going to find out how to join the workshop. Hopefully you have already received in this email or perhaps in a prior email a link to your specific training track Zoom room. Think of a Zoom room like a conference room. Those of you who are in the Level 2 intermediate track will have received 2 Zoom room links. The one specific to your training track and the one for Level 1. The Level 1 Zoom room will be used for all of our group events. That's the welcome every day. That is any wrap-up that will happen at the end of the workshop, which is going to span 5 days over 2 weekends. Over the course of the workshop, you will have the opportunity to learn from, work with, and get to know many different faculty members. And that means that you will have an opportunity to talk with those that are in the medical field, behavioral health field, and even the subspecialties within each of those. And if your specialty isn't covered in your specific faculty group, this workshop, I'm sure we will be able to help you find somebody within the ASCH community who you're able to work with in more depth through individualized consultation so as I mentioned, you will be able to meet a variety of different faculty members throughout your workshop. And one of the ways that we are maximizing our faculty members' expertise and their wonderful teaching styles is having 2 faculty members in each Zoom room at all times. You'll have someone who's providing some information and some slide decks or interactive discussion, and you'll also have another faculty member who is there, who is monitoring the chat, answering questions, and being there as a support in the same way that faculty members typically hang out in the back of a conference room throughout the workshop. So that is a great bonus that we are able to have our faculty members present throughout the entire workshop. Additionally, there will be an ASCH staff member in each of the Zoom rooms at all times. Those are going to be our tech gurus. Those are going to be the folks that if you're having any type of technical difficulty, they're going to be able to troubleshoot it with you. So never fear, if Zoom life is not your forte, we are happy to help you. So, as someone who has a fully online private practice, I'm quite used to being online all day, and perhaps you are now too, given physical and social distancing regulations throughout the country. However, if this is not something that is naturally comfortable for you, as it is for the introvert in me, I am going to talk to you a little bit about ways to make this a little bit easier to sit and remain focused online as you would sit and remain focused in a conference room. And one of the things is to make sure that you keep your water handy and to make sure that you're eating on your schedule. So as you'll notice in the schedule, there is not a place for a lunch break or an afternoon coffee break or something like that. And it may be your breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night snack, early morning caffeine break while the workshop is going on. And so please eat and drink during the content part of the workshop. And this will allow you to stay fueled and have the energy to continue throughout the workshop. The other is to take care of yourself. I'm a wiggler. I move in my chair all day long. And I did it in person and I do it online. And if that's you, own it. If you need to stand up and kind of hang out behind your chair, please do that as well. There's no need to turn your videos off while you're eating or standing up behind your chair. We're all friends now. We're all going to be great colleagues to lean on, and we are happy to be a part of this workshop with you. I do note having your video on because we do need that on for your CE attendance, as well as just so much easier to talk to faces than it is to a headshot or names on a screen. Also, if you have any questions throughout the workshop, there is a chat function that you're able to type that question in. You are also welcome to ask those questions live. Each faculty member will have a preference on how they prefer to handle questions, and that will vary, and they'll let you know specifically. A little bit ago, I mentioned staying focused. As you can see, Trixie is not staying focused, and this is not what we want. Instead, what we want is you to be present for the entire workshop. And so if you have errands that you need to run or need to run on the treadmill and get that energy out or just get those steps in, please do so before or after the workshop. If you're not familiar with Zoom, Zoom is both a browser-based and an application-based software. We highly recommend downloading the application or the app to your desktop, laptop, smartphone, or tablet, whichever device you will be using throughout the workshop. Utilizing Zoom through the browser works, but the functionality is not nearly as robust, and the troubleshooting is a lot more difficult because it is based off of the browser that you're using and the updated version of that browser. So you could be using Firefox or Google Chrome or Safari and all of those. So please make sure you have the most up-to-date version of Zoom downloaded to your desktop, laptop, smartphone, or your tablet. I personally recommend using a desktop or a laptop for two primary reasons. One, your screen when you use a desktop or a laptop is going to take up your entire video box. And when you are on a mobile device, you get smooshed. And so that makes it just a little bit more difficult for others to see you when you're practicing in small group sessions and in demonstrations. The mobile devices are also smaller. This screen while quite large for a smartphone, is still much smaller than my desktop computer. And that means that I'm going to have less of a view of my peers and gallery view when I'm doing demonstrations, when I'm needing to be an observer, those kinds of things. It's a whole lot easier to do so on a larger screen. Thing that needs to be covered. And that is some safety features that we have built in to this online format. When we meet in person, we know where you are. So if you were to be abducted by aliens, we could call law enforcement and say, come meet us at this hotel room and come investigate. When we're in an online practice or an online forum, just like this, if something were to happen similar to an alien abduction or a magical tornado takes you from Kansas to Oz, we can contact whoever we need to, whether that is your emergency contact that you will have listed on your informed consent that needs turned in at least the day before your workshop begins, as well as any other people that may need to know about that magical tornado or the alien abduction. So that means that we will need to know your physical location every single day of the workshop. Please provide that physical address on your informed consent. And if for some reason that changes from one day to the next, please notify the chair of the workshop or ASCH staff as soon as you know, just so that we can make that note. Additionally, the phone number that we are asking for on your informed consent is for similar unexpected events. So if you are like me and anything that is related to my practice, I give my phone number to my office. Please give your cell phone number that you can be reached at if there were some unexpected event going on. One of those things could be technological issues, right? So if we need to talk with you one-on-one instead of going through chat, we'll want to be able to give you a call. Please give us your physical address of where your 2 feet are going to be throughout the workshop, as well as the phone that you are going to have handy and be able to answer throughout the workshop. That would help us out greatly. I think we are at the end. Well, almost at the end. I have one more thing that I would like to discuss with you that I find to be not only very important, but the most fun, and that is the small group practice sessions. Small group practice sessions are by far my favorite part of ASCH workshops, and it is a great way to learn from and work with your peers on what you have been learning throughout the workshop. In in-person settings, we would move from one conference room to another into groups of 4 to 5, sometimes 6, and practice with one another. In an online setting, the Zoom room link that you will already be using will have breakout rooms from there. ASCH staff is going to take care of all of that information for you. They're going to assign you to a group, and all you'll have to do is click the button that says Join Breakout Room. Once you do, you'll be in a group of 4 to 6 people, and you will be able to practice one-on-one in that small group setting. In level 1 trainings, there are specific forms and a specific format to follow. And I'm going to be making another video message going over those forms and in more detail and in more depth. In level 2, you guys have already gone through all of those forms, and so it's going to look a little bit different, where you are going to be practicing all the things you did in level 1 in addition to what you're learning in level 2 during this workshop. So that's really cool. And during these breakout rooms, we will be asking you, and it's also, during the breakout rooms and all the demonstrations that will happen throughout the workshop, we will be asking you to hide your video and mute yourself, except if you are in the demonstration or in the dyad of a facilitator and a recipient. And the great thing about that is then all of your peers end up with 2 people on their screen, so you have a larger view of the facilitator and the recipient, which is a really great way to hone your observation skills. We'll tell you how to do that. We'll get more into that kind of stuff on day one, just to let you know, but wanted to kind of mention that. All right, I think we made it through, and I hit all of my tips and tricks and very important information to discuss. I will be recording a video regarding small group practice sessions here in just a moment that will be sent out separately, and that way you will be able to take a look at it, stop it, start it as many times as you need. If you have any questions about the upcoming American Society of Clinical Hypnosis online workshop that you are a part of here in probably about a week or so, please reach out to ASCH staff or the chair of the workshop who you heard from at the beginning of this video. You'll have a wonderful time during your workshop, and I hope to get to meet each and every one of you very soon. Bye now.